Yo, this game's balls. Disney Pixar's Cars is a movie about cars, and it managed to get a video game in June 2006, and it got ported onto nearly every console that was still worthy of getting games at the time, including the port I'm talking about today, which is the DS version, and trust me, it's the worst version of the game, and I'm going to say why it's the worst of the 9 Disney Pixar's video game ports. In this version of the game, Welcome to the game show. Guess what genre this game is? Today, we're going to guess the genre of the hit game Disney Pixar Cars the video game on the Nintendo dual screen. Is it A, a racing game, B, an action-adventure game, or C, a crappy minigame collection that forces touchscreen controls? I'll let John answer first.
Well, obviously, it's a racing game.
Good answer, John. You're wrong.
Damn it!
Little Timmy, you're next.
I think it's an action-adventure game.
Sorry, Little Timmy, but you're incorrect. Since neither of you idiots got it correct, I'll reveal the answer myself. It's a crappy minigame collection that forces touchscreen controls.
What did I?
And that's today's round of guess what genre this game is. See you later, mother... Yep, since the DS's main gimmick is the touchscreen, they made this port of the game a minigame collection to stick with the touching is good slogan the DS once had. But the minigames can't be that bad, so I'm going to review them, starting with... In this minigame, you guide the cleverly named Snot Rod through waves of ongoing traffic while trying to avoid bumping into too much of the traffic to the point where the sheriff is involved. Occasionally, another speeder will soon pass Snot Rod, and their portrait will appear on the UI. Once all 3 speedsters pass by you, the minigame then proceeds to the next round. As the minigame progresses, the amount of obstacles thrown at you increases. The minigame ends when you get 5 wanted stars or you make it back to Toriku's town in one piece. This minigame is quite good in my opinion, because it actually involves driving, something which is quite rare in this game. The controls, while touchscreen based, for obvious reasons, are quite responsive and the music in this minigame is quite catchy. The only problem is that occasionally Snot Rod will occasionally have a snotty outburst and will speed up to the point where I might accidentally hit a car and gain a wanted star for that. Besides that, this minigame's solid and is currently at the top of the list, but knowing this port of the game, it'll stay at the top of the list for quite a while. It's time to move on to the next minigame. After this minigame, we move on to Flo's minigame, Flo's V8 Cafe, which you give a car a nice gentle stroke while they get fuel at the gas station. As the rounds progress, more cars will begin spawning and will become harder to focus on. Leaving too many cars without their gentle stroke will give you an undeserved game over. This one's not great at all. Later on, too many cars spawn at once and they're all far away from each other, making it a nightmare to stroke them. Anyways, bottom of the list you go, Flo's mediocre cafe. Whatever. In Thermal's minigame, you just press the colour of the traffic lights in the correct order. It's just a memory game. Yeah. The 3 beginning minigames alone already show this game's biggest flaw. Where the fuck's the driving? It's only in Snot Rod's minigame so far. Well, too bad, you're not going to see a lot of it at all. Besides the actual piston cup, more on that later, out of the 12 minigames in this version, only 2 of them contain proper driving. A good chunk of the non-driving minigames are doo-doo fart, and worst, you don't even start with all 12 of them, you only start with the 3 I just talked about. To unlock more, you got 2 options. Number 1, complete the set of 3 minigames, then beat a round of the Piston Cup, and once you do that, you only get access to 3 more minigames. Then do this 2 more times and you'll have all 12 minigames. Or number 2. Enter this code while the game is at the title screen, and you'll have access to everything from the get-go. Guess which one I picked? Anyways, enough rambling, on to minigame 4. In Lightning McQueen's minigame, you just put the trophies that drop out of Mac into the colour zone. It's just a sorting minigame. Why is it with the generic styles of minigames? The quality control with this game is all over the place. Like for a sec, the minigames had decent ideas, but then the last 2 I checked are generic as all hell. Let's hope that the next minigame isn't a generic one. Finally, another minigame that's worth talking about for a bit. In Maida's minigame, you try to murder your touchscreen as fast as possible to speed Maida up, and shoot him up to the sky and collect the required number of stars to move on to the next round. You get 2 tries, mess up both of them, and you have to try the round again. This minigame's not bad at all, one of the better ones of the lot, since it's fast paced compared to the other ones that go on for ages, and successfully lining up my Maida to the purple arrows so Maida could be shot to the moon and get bonus stars is quite satisfying. The music also slaps in this minigame. The only issue is that I suck at it, mainly because lining your Maida requires to quickly tap the screen left and right, but not too quickly to even make progress in this game. But I'm not going to let skill issue ruin a game for me. It's going above Flo's Fiat Cafe, but below Snot Rod's minigame, which I cannot pronounce at all. Anyways, in Sheriff's minigame, which Sheriff's barely involved in, you play as Maida and fish out any garbage that ends up in the lake. Though don't fish it back out too fast, otherwise it breaks loose. This minigame's mid. It's kind of generic, but not so generic it becomes boring. Looking at you, that blinking light. The other issue is that it was way too easy since I managed to beat the extended 10-round version that unlocks once you beat a minigame for the first time. Something I can't really do with the other 11 minigames. Anyways, it goes below Flo's V8 Cafe. In this minigame, you play as Guido and you're trying to fling tires onto a pile of other tires, and once you power enough of them, you move on to the next round. This one's dog shit. It's a nightmare trying to line the tires up due to the touch controls and the wind messing everything up. Couldn't even get past round 1. It's going below Highway Hassle. At least that one I could actually control well. Still better than that blinking light. This one's just a rhythm game where you time actions with the correct sound to move on. It's air. It goes above Casa della Tires. This one also contains a freestyle mode where you mess around with the speakers and record your audio and have the game play it back. Wee wee poo poo. Anyways, next minigame. In this minigame, you go around a farm, sneakily tipping over all the tractors while avoiding Frank. Once all the tractors are tipped over, you move on to the next round. On the first 3 rounds, you play as Maida, then the final 3 rounds, you play as Lightning. This minigame's not bad, it's going above Flo's V8 Cafe, but below World's Best Backwards Driver. It's just a generic traffic puzzle game where you move cars out the way so Lightning McQueen can reunite with Sally. Next! In this minigame, you tap the screen to make Ramon jump as high as possible by timing your touchscreen presses, and once Ramon jumps high enough, you can trace patterns on the touchscreen to get more points. Once you get enough points, you move on. This one's underwhelming. It's kind of generic and forces touchscreen controls like the rest of the minigames. Moving on. In this minigame, you do actual racing. Yay, kinda. You drive backwards while up against Maida and dodging a bunch of obstacles scattered across the 8 tracks you race on. If you come first in a backwards race, you move on to the next round. This one's great, mainly because you actually race in this minigame, there's no touchscreen controls at all, and spoiler alert, it's better than the Piston Cup races in the DS version of this game. It's not perfect though. If you hate reverse controls, you will not like this one at all. Personally, it's alright, but it's hard getting used to. And this minigame likes to spam a bunch of obstacles during the later rounds, but overall, quite solid. Where would I rank this one? I'm going to reveal my ranking for all minigames in this version, starting with last place, which is That Blinking Light, Casa della Tires, The Drive-In, Hydraulic Jump Jam, Renowned Style, Highway Hassle, Fishin' Maida, Flo's V8 Cafe, Tractor Tipping, World's Best Backwards Driver, and first place goes to Willie's Butter. Man, a good chunk of those mini games were bad, mainly due to unoriginal ideas, forced touchscreen controls, and horrible difficulty curve. Like some mini games I couldn't even get very far, and some I whizzed through with ease. In general, I would only consider like 2 to 3 mini games actually worthy of returning to in the future. But unfortunately, I ain't done with this game yet, since this game does have proper racing after all, but how do they execute it? In this mode of the DS version, you play as McQueen, and you, quote unquote, race against Chick Hicks, who is sadly only playable in the multiplayer mode. There are 4 tracks to race on, however the tracks look identical appearance wise, so it's basically a difficulty selection. The racing itself, it's terrible. First off, it's barely racing. It's just you and Chick going around a loop until the end, where you do need to get in front of Chick Hicks to win. Or you can watch Chick Hicks kill himself to get the win. And yes, the other way of winning, deflating all 4 tyres of one of the cars. Tyres in this mode activate your health. The more objects you ram into, the more your tyres wear down and eventually pop. Once a tyre pops, your Excel meter decreases in capability, causing your boosts to last shorter. The main way of recovering tyres is by playing a pit stop minigame, which features, you guessed it, touchscreen controls. If you manage to get 4 tyres replaced, you can immediately get chucked back to the track, with Chick's tyres not fully replaced, which sorta helps you if you're trying to win via tyre deflation, but that could also potentially get you killed. I'm running out of things to say about this mode. It sucks. On to the final verdict. This one's a true stinker. It has mostly terrible minigames that force the use of the touchscreen, a awful racing mode that doesn't feel like racing at all, and in general, if you want a proper handheld Cars the video game experience, just play the PSP version, or if you're a Nintendo only fanboy, play the GBA version. And if you want to play a DS Disney Cars game, the sequels to this game also received DS versions, and they actually contain proper racing and not see whose tyres deflate first. Overall, this version of the game is terrible. I'm ranking it a 2 out of 10. And this is my first game that I reviewed that I'll be placing into the Raisin's Wall of Shame. Only games and other media below 2.5 out of 10 get placed into the Wall of Shame. Anyways, I'm done talking about this junk. This is ThatOneRaisin, and I'm hoping the next game I review is decent. Bye bye.